Hey guys, Opal here and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a build in the Glade of Trust, the Sunlit Plateau, and I just inspired this whole build out of a random combination of train tracks, so I just placed them super randomly. I kind of just connected them to the bridges and other entrance points, and then I just placed that manor and the Disney parks entrance where I could fit them. And yeah, it's really just inspired by these railroads that I placed down here. So I am just going to skip to when the railroads are finished because it took me a very long time to lay them all down. So this is kind of what I came up with. I just did two main paths with a little loop, and I guess three main paths, and then I really wanted to put this manor behind these railroads, so later on I just adjust these to fit that. And then I just placed three of these park buildings, and I really love these buildings. You can use a whole row of them, put them in like a little configuration, and you can really make a lot with them. So I think it's a really nice addition to the items that we have in this game, and it's also great that you don't only have to place one, you can place multiple of them. So for my pathing, I just went for a basic brick pathing underneath the railroads, and here I go, and I place them because I thought it just looked a little bit funny with nothing underneath the rails. Now this build does take a lot of materials, but it's also quite a big build, so yeah, I did go in and cut out a lot of bits where I was getting some more materials and doing some more crafting. This build all up took me about an hour and a half to build. So yeah, usually my builds only take about 30 minutes, so this was quite of a big build. This is where I go and adjust my railroads so we can fit in this building. And I think that this building just really looks so good. The only problem that I have with it is it's really hard to fit in some of the biomes that we have. I had to do so much adjusting with these buildings, with moving them to place pathing and just getting them in the right spot, but in the end I really love how they turned out. I just chose to put a rustic tower in the middle with some seating. I kept it pretty simple just because there's so much to this build. I didn't have really the time to clutter every single inch like I try to in my other builds. I went back and forth on what I wanted to do. I tried to just border it with some foliage, but then I decided just to do some flower beds and some seating. I did try the bamboo seating, but I don't really like how it looks in this particular build. And this is when I decided to just keep it super simple and just put some flower beds and seating. And then I just used some brick fences to create these, I don't even know what to call it, just some pillars I guess around the seating. And then I added these Japanese maple trees, but I ended up deleting these anyway, so I just cut that bit out. And then I went through with these hedges and I just bordered around the the building, and I really like how this looks when you just border with these hedges. I think it gives a really nice structured feel to the build, and I think it really does a lot and makes a big difference without actually having to do much. I also think that the green color of this looks really nice, and I love how there's not really many seams or gaps between the hedges. It just looks really polished. And then this is when I delete these because I think they're just a little bit too cluttered, and instead I just border the back with some of the hedges. And then I just grab some seating on the back and some rubbish bins. And all the lighting that I'm using are just these normal iron craftable lamps. Now for this area here, I just wanted to do like a little boarded off garden, a little bit messy inside but still quite structured on the outside. So I just grabbed some hedges and bushes, and I didn't think too much about it. I just kind of placed things. I just used the peaceful meadow plants as well as some of the wild tangle plants that we get. And then for this side, I just bordered it off with hedges. I just wanted a nice kind of structured entrance, and yeah, I just put some foliage down the bottom of it, and again, I don't think too much about it. I just place things, and I think it just looks kind of messy and a little bit cluttered, but still always looks good when you kind of just throw some things down. And then underneath this, I just put some of the bordered muddy paths. On the side, I thought it would be nice to have a little sitting area. Maybe if you're waiting for the train or you just want to chill out at a park, I just made a little park area. And I just left some gaps on the side so I can fill it with foliage, and then I just bordered it off with some brick. For all my trees, I just use the oak trees and the tall maples. And then I just put some foliage down, but I made sure on beside the river that there was enough space for fishing and to get to that node and mine. I did a similar thing and just put some benches at the front and the back, and I tried to put this foliage but it was one tile off, so instead I put two on the sides and then a little sitting nook at the back. I kept this area really simple. I just mostly used foliage, the benches, and some barrels as well as some bins. This is when I add those rubbish bins in, and I love how the green just gives it a pop of colour with it being so brown. And then I just put some rocks to make it feel less empty in all the muddy areas. Now for this middle area, I chose to do similar to the sitting area, except I just put some bushes and just made it a really natural area. When I was bordering off the muddy bordered paths in this area, it kind of glitched out and wouldn't show my pathing, so I had to exit the game. And when I did, it deleted my trees, and then I just decided to keep it with no trees because I thought it looked a little bit better. So for this area, I wanted to do a big kind of, not junkyard, but like where all of the mine stuff or railroad stuff is kept. I didn't fill out this area completely because honestly we don't have that many items to use for this, or at least I couldn't find many, but I just fenced it with this metal fencing. Then place some trees around and some foliage. This was me trying to find the mine carts, and I placed, I think, about 8 of them, and I just kind of put them around to look like they were in storage. And then I decided to put this skeleton mobile as well as Buzz's van. And then for the rest of the clutter, I mostly just put random barrels and crates and stuff like that around, just making it look like maybe they're deliveries or rubbish that are waiting to get put on the train or have just been taken off the train. This is where I grabbed Buzz's vehicle, and I think it fits really well with the look. Maybe just they're parking, like the cars are parking in this little car park. Maybe they work there. I don't know, but I think it fits the theme, so I kept them there. And then I just had a look for some other items that might fit the space. I did end up putting a little sitting area to the side, and I used this sign too. And then I rearranged a little bit of the items, and I just cut this part out, but I just kind of spread things out a little bit more and added some railroads for like storage of the minecarts, and then just adding some lighting. This is basically the end of the build. The only last thing that I do is just fill in this area quickly with some random foliage and stuff like that. I didn't put any trees because I'm trying to not put as many trees in my build because I find it a little bit hard to find my moonstone chests every day when it's hard to have a bird's eye view because the trees are blocking them. And this is the final walkthrough. I really loved how this turned out. I think it's a little bit different to other things that I have in my valley. Here's the little sitting area, and I like how open this whole build is. And here's the little, I don't even know what you call it, junkyard, storage yard, whatever it is. I really like how this turned out. The only thing that I would add is maybe some more clusters of boxes. And then here's my little sitting area. And here are some overview shots of the build for a better look. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this video.